Hey NTA Nation, welcome back to another cigar review, and we're going to do it's kind of a somber cigar review. We just got word yesterday that one of the legends of the cigar industry, Manny Ferreira of Ashton Cigar, he was a senior VP. He passed away in Cabo San Lucas, dancing at the Tobacco Association function down there with his wife, and he's known throughout the industry as just one of the great guys that, of all aspects of the cigar industry. Manufacturers, retailers, customers, everybody's ever come in contact with him. He's just a real awesome, genuine guy, just a really spectacular person, and he'll be sorely missed. And I'm doing something a little bit different. This is not what I originally planned to do for a review, but it was definitely something I had on the radar. And the cigar shop in Biloxi, which is the cigar shop that I frequent pretty much on a weekly basis, sent me some samples of a cigar that I thought, well, this is a perfect time to actually go ahead and do it. And that is the Ashton VSG Pegasus. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, or like you saw my top 10 list, or my top cigars of the year, you actually have already seen this. And if you follow me on Twitter, like I said, you've seen me. I've been smoking a ton of these, so kind of foreshadows to where this is going to go. So actually, this was in the running to be one of my top cigars of the year. So I'm not going to tell you, if it's good or bad. It's a great stick. It's my favorite VSG now. I just go ahead and get that out of the way. So with this review, we're just going to talk about, for me, how it's different from the regular VSG line, because it is a different animal, and basically compared to some of my favorites in the VSG line. And as many of you know that have saw past reviews, you know that the VSG was the first cigar that I ever had. So these hold a really special place in my heart. I always have at least one box of these in my humidor at all times. So, matter of fact, I've got a box from 2005 that's sitting there completely unopened, that's never been touched. Much of the chagrin of my friends, because they really want me to bust that open so they can try it out. So maybe one day we'll go ahead and get that thing busted open. But anyway, let's go ahead and just take a look at this cigar. It's a 5.5 by 54 ring gauge, and if you notice something different about this one, it's round. It's a round stick. It's not square like the other VSGs are. Well, besides the Eclipse Tubo and the Wizard, which are also round. But if you've been around a while cigar smoking, you know that this is the original size, or the original shape of the VSGs. They came round in the beginning, and after a few years they went to the box press shape. I don't remember the story of why they did that, but I just remember they all went to the box press shape. And then a few years back they released, I think it was actually the year before last, they released the Wizard, which, if I remember right, it's like a 6 by 54, 56, I can't remember. And then the Eclipse Tubo that came out the year before last, or last year, I can't remember, I get it confused, but it's a 6 by 52 Toro. It's a round. And it came in the aluminum tubo, and with a cedar lining on them. Well, this one is a Robusto Grande 5.5 by 54. Retails anywhere from about $10 to $12, depending on where you buy it, with your taxes and whatnot. But anyway, it's got a really beautiful oily looking wrapper. You can see it's kind of a model brown wrapper, but it does have one little blemish. You can see it right there, split wrapper. Now, on these cigars, I've actually noticed that most of them are not as beautiful as the regular VSG line. To me, they look rougher, and they have small little imperfections. Not a lot, just small ones. Actually, that's probably the worst I've ever seen, is that split in that wrapper right there. But as you can see, if it'll focus correctly on it, it's basically cosmetic. I don't think that's going to do anything when I get to that, so I'm not real worried about it. But as most of you know, the VSGs are made by the Fuentes for Ashton, and they've got the Ashton Classic, Heritage Per Soul, Cabinet, ESG, and then the VSG here also. And out of all of them, the VSG is absolutely my favorite. I just love these things. I can never get enough of them. I could probably smoke these every day and never get bored. I love them, and that's just the way it is. So anyway, let me go ahead and I'm gonna cut this thing. Use my Zycar cutter here. And one thing I did want to point out too, if you notice, it actually has a pretty flat cap. So a lot of times what I've been doing is I've just been using a punch just to kind of keep it clean, but I don't know, don't feel like it now. Perfect cut anyway. It's like our sharp. Perfect milkshake draw. It has a really sweet cedar and leather note to it on the cold draw. It's really, really rich tobacco flavors. And it's salty. It's got a nice salty characteristic to it, which I actually find that a lot of Cuban cigars. Not so much on anywhere else, but I do get them sometimes in Dominican cigars, which is where the VSG is made. It's actually Dominican binder and filler with an Ecuadorian sun-grown Sumatra wrapper. So that's what the makeup is. Let me get my Zycar lighter here. Now, one of the things about Manny is he's kind of renowned for coming up with really great ideas to do with different, like when you go to an event or whatever at a cigar shop for Ashton or whatever, he always comes up with something unique. He always wants to change it up, do something different, give the customer something that's not normal, that's a little bit that's better than the normal standard HERF or event that they don't have. And I never got to attend a HERF that he put on, but what I really hate is he was going to put on a HERF in May for us at the cigar shop. We're going to have he came up with a great idea, he and the owner of the shop, with having a steak dinner. It was like a 7-course meal, and throughout the meal they were going to pair certain items that we're eating with the food, a specific type of food, and a specific type of beverage. A bourbon, scotch, rum, wine. I can't remember. It was a pretty complex event that we're going to have, but I was really looking forward to it. And I hate that we're not going to be able to do it and not meet Manny and let everybody, around this area get to experience one of his events and get to know him, because we just, in our area, especially since Katrina, we don't have a lot of big events and stuff because we don't have that many shops in our area, just because that's just the way it is. And to have Manny be able to come here and put on a event for us was really special. And I just hate that we're not going to be able to do that. And so Manny's loss is going to be, it's going to be a while before the reverberation for that settled down. But anyway, you see it puts off an absolute ton of smoke. It's one thing I love about a cigar, when it gives off just an absolute huge billowing cloud of smoke. I love that, top notch. It has that cedar and that leatheriness to it with some sweetness. It also has a really nice spice to it that you really get on the retrohale. The spice really comes out. It's like a white pepper. It's not very strong, but it's there. And there's also like, I don't know. Let me think on that one. I mean, there's actually a nice, like a buttery caramel to that sweetness. There's not just a normal sweetness you get on a cigar. It really coats your palate. It's like almost like a syrupy texture, the way it coats your palate. But there's something that's kind of it's playing in the background that's I'm really trying to put my finger exactly on what it is, but it's kind of hard. It's slipping my mind about how to describe it best. So I think I'll leave it. I'm gonna see how it develops. Actually, I know how it develops, but let's see. I'm gonna smoke this to the halfway point, and I'll let you know how it goes. So I'll see you in a second. Everybody, I'm back. I'm at the halfway point now. The cigar remains kind of the same. I'm getting that the core cedar and leather notes with the cigar. I'm also getting kind of a saltiness to it, and like a real buttery, almost it's like a sweet butter note to it. Almost like a caramel note to it. Now, the flavor that I really couldn't, it was hard for me to describe, was almost in the beginning. I said it was kind of like a fruity note. You know, it was almost like a dark fruit note that I was kind of hard to pick out. And I kind of was thinking the closest thing I could say it was kind of almost like, you know, like a black cherry note, a real dark kind of, you know, a little slightly sour note, you know, kind of a dark fruit kind of a flavor to it or whatever. And it's a little faint, but it's definitely there. It's definitely in the background. I taste it. Well, as it started to develop and I got close to the halfway point, it started picking up a nice coffee bitterness to it. But it's relatively mild flavor also. It's kind of in the back with it. So it's just a ton of flavor. It's just smoking really, really, really well. I knocked the ash off here just a little while ago, and it was probably, well, I only knocked one ash off, and there's that much left. So more than an inch of ash was hanging on this thing, and I actually knocked it off. I mean, it didn't just fall off on its own. I was afraid it was going to burn in my lap, so that's why I knocked it off. But it's smoking really, really good. So I love the flavor of that what they call virgin sun-grown for the wrapper. What that is it's a sun-grown wrapper, but not in a traditional sun-grown sense. Basically, this wrapper is made by the Oliva family, not Oliva Cigars, but the Oliva tobacco farming family. And they have a private farm in Ecuador in the mountains that grows nothing but tobacco for this, the wrapper tobacco. And it's because it's up in the higher altitudes in Ecuador, it's a lot of cloud cover. So what sun does filter through, you know, gets these wrappers, and it's basically like it's a cloud covered, basically sun-grown wrapper. That's why they call it, what their term for virgin sun-grown, basically. But it really makes just a beautiful wrapper, just absolute ton of flavor. And the Fuentes buy that wrapper just for this cigar. It's really awesome. And with that 4 to 5 year old aged tobaccos as a filler in the binder, it makes a really great cigar. So far, I'd say probably the body is medium to full, but when I first started smoking these several years ago, probably 10, probably, yeah, at least that, probably more than that. Anyway, these were considered full body, like this, when you wanted like boss the walls flavor cigar, like bodied cigar, it was the VSG was it. Now, with these new cigars that have almost pure Ligero in them, you know, that's basically moved the bar up some, but still, this is still not your normal Ashton. You know, regular other Ashtons are mild, medium body. This is definitely in the upper echelon body-wise and all the Ashtons. But so far to me, it's kind of medium plus, medium full, something like that. Not full body, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut up, actually. And I'm going to finish this thing off, and I'll let you know how it is in a second. Be right back. Everybody, I'm back. You can see I'm at the very end of this thing. I can barely hold on to this cigar. Pretty much in flavors remain kind of the same, but at the very end of the cigar, that coffee note, that bitterness that I'm getting, it's actually developed more. It's actually becoming more dominant note with the leather and the woodiness. But those three right there are pretty much the strongest notes that I'm getting right now on the very end of this cigar. That sweetness has died down. The butteriness is still there, but it's at the very kind of underlying part of the flavors on it. But other than that, it's kind of remaining the same. Oh, that dark fruit, that like the black cherry I was talking about, it's pretty much gone completely. It's not there anymore at all. But how does this one differ from the regular VSGs? Well, for me, the box press VSGs have like a creaminess to them that, to me, the round one does not have. It's something that's not there. But to me, the round ones actually have kind of like that. It's that more sweeter dark fruit butterness actually comes through a lot stronger on like the Pegasus than it does the other notes. I mean the box press. So to me, there's a subtle difference, but it's definitely noticeable. I mean, it's there. You definitely see it. It has the same backbone. The same framework is there, but it's just those little differences that I don't know why it's different. I don't see how box press and the round could be that much of a difference, but it is. There is a difference in the taste. Definitely, if you get one of these, smoke like the regular Robusto, and then smoke this behind it, and it'll definitely stand out to you the difference that these are. And I think it's an amazing cigar. I love this cigar. I can't get enough of these. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, you see that, because I usually tweet most every cigar that I'm smoking. I'll take a picture of it and put it on Twitter or whatnot. And if you go back and look, there's a whole lot of these on there. Especially every time I go to the cigar shop in Biloxi. Pretty much every time I'm grabbing a Pegasus, unless they're sold out, then obviously can't get them. But almost every time I go, I at least get 2 or 3 of these. You smoke one there, bring 2 home. Every time. It's one that I don't get tired of. The VSGs, I never get tired of them. But for me, the Pegasus is the pinnacle of the line for me. If I could choose one box, it would definitely be of the Pegasus. I just think it's a stellar cigar. Just one that is wholeheartedly box worthy, no doubt. And worth every bit of the $10, $11, whatever, for the price. I would pay that any time. Any day of the week I would pay that. So I want to thank the cigar shop for providing these for the review. It's an amazing store. So if you're ever in the area in Biloxi, Mississippi, or on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, definitely stop by there. Come by and visit. Have a cigar. I'll probably be there, so I'll have one with you. So anyway, just want to end, but saying, about Manny, it's a great loss. He was truly the epitome of a brother of the leaf, and he will be sorely missed. So, to you, Manny.